gonna go ahead and I've got to get some. We're cutting some opals again. We might get into faceting a few today, but for right now, you can see that. Right now, I'm gonna go ahead and see what we can come up with. I got to get some more that we can process. Let's see, that's a good one. So, we're gonna try, this guy is supposedly called a gift. But we're gonna get set up here for all of my peeps. I'm gonna go ahead and get this black opal cut. Okay, and then I also gotta get my other phone going here. Okay, so we've got some black opals that we're gonna get cutting. Beautiful. And we're gonna go ahead and get this going. Give me just a second, guys. Get this water on. There we go. Okay, we've got this beautiful black opal. And try and see what kind of gems are hiding inside this stone here. This one may go straight over to pre-polish stone. Okay, look at that. Beautiful. Okay, give me a sec. We're gonna go over, we're gonna hit this with the other stone here. So let me move this camera real quick. And go ahead and go over with this light. There we go. Okay, let's get going. Get this water on. Sorry, my arm's in the way. That color, Gorgeous. Come on now. Come on now. Oh yeah. Beautiful. You know, this might be a stone that's worth $5,000 at the end of this. It could be worth very little, only a few $100s to maybe 30, 40 bucks. But that's the fun part, is cutting in. We got to get rid of as much of this sand as we can. Who here in the comment section likes opals? Has ever owned an opal? What's up, Queen Spear? How's it going? How you doing this nice Thursday evening? Got any fun plans this evening, or are you just chilling and watching some YouTube? Starting to get little flecks. So this is an Ethiopian black opal, just chilling. Yeah, this is cutting opals like this. This is my version of chilling. Oh, I'm doing wonderful. I'm in the state of Utah and it's super, super hot outside. So getting down here in my basement where it's at least 20 degrees cooler than down upstairs, I'm much, much happier down here right now. Just getting some opals processed. Getting ready to turn them into some gems so we can make some jewelry this next week. This one, that sand, oh, you're in Georgia? My dad, he did his residency out in Georgia. He always talks about the white Georgia peaches, and that he's never had one quite like that white Georgia peach. I don't think I've ever had a white Georgia peach, but the way my dad makes it sound is just unreal. Yeah, he did his residency out in Atlanta. What part of Georgia are you from? Decatur. I mean, I can't say I've ever heard of that area. Is it more on the outskirts, or is it a major city? we may have a stone right there. So I think we've processed this one. Then what we'll do is we'll let this dry. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I think, let me bring this in just a little bit. I think that's our stone. We're gonna, under the saw, take that off. And that's gonna be almost a, that's gonna be a square cut. I hear my water pump going off. I think I'm out of water. Give me a second, guys. I gotta run, go fill up this bucket. I'll be right back. Give me a second. Enjoy the wonderful sounds of the machine. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. It's filling up. But tell me, what's there to do in Georgia? In Decatur. All right, check this guy out. Decatur. Am I saying it wrong? Here's another one. This one's gonna be kind of difficult. 'Cause it's got some deep sand grooves. Let me get my torch. Where'd my little torch guy go? So if you can see in this, that sand kind of has a little pocket in there. So when you get opals like this, it's sort of challenging because you're going to lose a lot of material unless you take it to a saw, and we might be able to get a gem right here, a little, if you look on your finger, just a little one. So we're gonna kind of get all this sand off and kind of shape that stone and see where we want to take it. We'll most likely take that little nub guy off. So, all right, I gotta go grab my water. Excuse me. All right, we're back in business. Okay, let's get back to cutting opals. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I had a buddy that was from Atlanta, Georgia, and he told me the world's largest aquarium is out that way. Is that true? Are you familiar with that? Is it as cool as he made it sound, or is it kind of lame? Get some of this clay and sand. Oh, you've never been? And I guess when you live in close proximity, you may not go to all the touristy attraction places. I grew up in San Diego, California, and we almost never went to Disneyland. Man, there's a lot of clay in this guy. I'm gonna have to bump up the water a little bit, try and clean this off. What has you? Something that you're just not interested in? Or just the opportunity has never really presented itself to go? Take a look at this. Getting some really pretty purples to come through. We also, unfortunately, see that dark line right there? That's a crack. So there's a chance we may get two right off the bat. This may split as I'm shaping it, but we will see. Look how pretty that purple's coming through. Royal. And those reds and those purples. Oh, there we go. Lost a little chip. I'm gonna try and take these on opals because they're kind of like glass. You want to take the hard, you want to try and round everything off because if not, they tend to fracture under hard diamond grit. Okay, it's starting to take shape a little bit. Oh, you're fine. You're fine. I'm a slow reader. So where our main stone is going to be in this guy is right in the tip here. So we've got a little sand there and a little sand there. But we should be able to polish most of that out. I should be able to get this speck out. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, it's almost gone. Yeah, okay, so all the sand, there's still a little bit of a speck in there. See if we can take it over to the hard polish. Alrighty. So we got that out. You can kind of see that sand is in this little divot. So our main stone, because it kind of thins out right here, our main stone we're going to be able to cut out right there. And we'll either do a teardrop or you could even do a slight file, almost arrowhead shape like. Round this off and kind of bring this up to a point. I guess that's also a teardrop. Maybe a little bit more drastic of a teardrop. That could be pretty. And some color in there. So okay, this stone, it's where it needs to be before we start getting it on the faceter. So I'm gonna let this dry and I'm gonna grab another piece. Let's go with something. Go with something a little bit bigger and maybe not a blue or black opal this time. This one's got quite a few cracks in it. Queen Spear. Tell me which ones you prefer, the blues or these more opaque and get a little bit of blue right at the top there. That's really pretty. And then if you look right here on this bottom layer, there's some fairy dust. So we take this skin off, we might have a couple really good gems. Now we do got to take into account this crack right here. So there's a chance as we're cutting this that it may fracture, and there's another crack right there. It may turn into a couple different stones. But that's okay. All right, this one, let's dive right in. You prefer the blues? All right. Next one I cut, I'll get another. Once we get this one roughed, I'll get another blue. We'll see if we can find a big one. Yeah, that's coming out really pretty. I like my. Oh, look at that come through. Starting to pick up. So a lot of these, remember how I said we're gonna skin this, you can see right down here is one of my favorite types. I call it fairy dust. I'm sure there's like an actual technical name for it, but you know, I'm not very technical. So I just call it fairy dust, but look how beautiful that is. And this isn't even a perfect polish. You polish this down to a really beautiful glass, and you just see all of those colors pop through. I'm kind of torn. I really love the blues and the blacks, but you know, I like these greens and these opaques just as much. All right, let's go in. Okay, here comes the grand reveal. Queen Spear. Is it gonna be nope, or is it gonna be super dope when we get this skin pulled off? 3? 2. There we go. All right, let's see. I think that's pretty dope. What do you think? Nope or dope? We still got a little skin we got to get off. Hooray! Dope. All right. All right. Okay, so let me see if I can get a close-up, because this is pretty cool. So, you can see all of the sand that's, there we go, that's trapped in there. You can also see there's opal just kind of chilling around that sand. Look at that. So you've got opal sitting in with the sediment. Yeah, that's, we're gonna keep pulling some of that skin back, try and get this guy off. See how deep it goes. It's really interesting. From almost every angle. That's what's cool about this stone. Almost every angle you get a difference in shift in color. So we see the blues and the purples and the reds and the greens and the golds. Also, gold is probably one of the most rare colors. Not uncommon, but it's more rare to find gold in your opal than just about any other of the other colors. Then we kind of shift it. And you can see now we're getting more greens. There's some teal up in the top. So it's just beautiful. Okay, here's an angle we haven't seen yet. Oh, do I play any instruments? Yeah. I'm an avid guitar player. I actually have an album on YouTube and Apple Music. My stage name is called Diet Knockoff. But my wife, she sings a lot of the vocals, and then I use a cool little AI. Yeah, check it out if you want. If you have Spotify or Apple, you can stream it free. If you have Apple Music or Spotify Premium. But yeah, again, my stage name is just Diet Knockoff, and it's the songs that I wrote are just about my childhood and my wife and my kids. Do you play any instruments? I'm assuming you do. What instruments do you play? Oh, you play the piano, the drums, and guitar. That's awesome. That's impressive. Which is your favorite of the three, meaning the one you couldn't live without? Starting to get a little bit more clarity on the bottom of this. Thanks. If I hit 100 subs, that's the first today. Appreciate that. Thank you. Were you technically my 100th subscriber? Yes, basically. Well, thank you so much. It really does mean a lot. I do this kind of for fun, but, here shortly we're going to be launching a website where I'll be selling these. Not like this, obviously, but we will be selling our gems when we cut them into rings. Let me show you a couple of the gem designs I've cut, and you can tell me if there's any of them you think are worth anything. So here's one. This I plan on having become a pendant. Oh, sorry. So here's a blue. Try and get it in the better light. Okay. So I plan on putting a cap on this and making a pendant. That's one I cut by hand. Do you have a YouTube channel, Queen Spear? It's another blue opal. Cut that into a, no, I'm not very smart. I wouldn't even know what shape that is. Here's another one that I plan on putting into a little pendant, a semi teardrop. This is one I cut and I plan on putting in a ring for my dad. Oh, almost dropped that guy. I am, thanks Aaron. So I'll put those off to the side. And let's get back to shaping this stone a little bit. We're pretty close to being done. I want to be able to save quite a bit of the meat on this. I feel like there's a lot of stone, a lot of gems we can cut out of this guy. Oh, and she split. Remember I said there was a good chance of that happening? Well, she did. But you know what? There's some really good gems we're gonna be able to make out of that. So don't you worry, because I'm not at all. Be able to slice that there. Okay, I'm gonna take some of these sharp edges off. I had a feeling it was gonna split. Okay, and there's a little, I don't know if you can see that, right? See that right there? That dark spot? That's another little crack. We're gonna try and chase it out. It's like I mentioned earlier, with opals, you don't really want any hard shelves. You want everything to be kind of rounded off because they tend to fracture real easy. Okay, and I feel like we got that one round it off. Look how blue it looks in this light. Oh, really? Your biological father used to do this? Did you ever get to do it with him? So Queen Spear, remember when we started off? This just looked like a regular old semi-clear crystal, and now look, now that it's fractured, it looks like a blue opal. That's pretty cool. You used to all the time? What specifically, were you guys rock counters? Did you go out looking for them? And then you kind of came back and just cut what you wanted? Or what did you guys specifically cut? I'm gonna go put this, I gotta go let this dry. It's about the shape I want it for right now. Give me a sec. Yeah, rivers, okay. So I'm assuming you probably went after like agates, some quartz. So that little piece that I just showed, it fractured off this guy. So we're gonna keep going. Any rock you thought was cool? Yeah. We just barely got back from a trip doing some Utah green garnets. Let me grab one. We found these gems out in the desert. I just got done polishing it last night. And this is what they look like before you polish them up. They pull them out of the earth with all those facets already. And so you can see this is after a polish. But yeah, we tend to go after rocks. We'll find a whole bunch of stuff. This stuff in particular is all Ethiopian opal. I got this from one of my black market dealers. Just kidding. It's called eBay. I just got a bunch of these off of eBay. It is a dealer that I've used for quite a while. But look at the golds on coming through on this. Okay, and there's a good chance, here's another fracture, that's going to be a gem on its own, but I'm going to leave this exactly the way it is. And I'm going to go ahead and go grab another blue opal. Okay. All right, let's see. Not much to do on that, you know? Okay. Now this one, show you, we got another fracture right down the middle. Not very thick. You know what? This one, it's not gonna cut very well. I'm gonna grab something maybe a little bit more purple. Has a little bit more meat on it. Now this stone was pretty expensive. I have a feeling, Queen Spear, you may like this one. You tell me. Here's a black Ethiopian opal. It's black, but it's pretty purple. Now this one was a very expensive stone, so I'm gonna treat this with some TLC, nice and slow, and really study that stone. Now this particular stone is out of Welo, Ethiopia, W-E-L-O. So it looks like a crack, but I don't think it is. I think that's just some sediment. Man, I'm gonna have to bump that water up. There's so much. It's very sticky. I'd say this is less sand and almost more clay. Take that tip off. That's almost always gonna be a breaking point. I'm seeing a couple good stones already coming out of this one. Okay. You know what? My light shifted a little bit. Yeah, me too, Aaron. This one, oh, there's almost a pink in it. I don't know if that, let me shift. I don't know if that color's coming right there. There's almost a nice, beautiful pink to this one. Get it in the right light. All right, now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the water down. I think we got through most of the muck. Thanks for being here today, guys. Oh, you could be doing just about anything, watching just about any video. I appreciate you guys coming and watching me enjoy a hobby, and hopefully you guys enjoy watching the hobby. Still quite a bit of sand. Get that clay out of here. So that goes pretty deep. There's a fracture right there. See that little line right there? That's a fracture in the stone. So we'll lose it, part of it. That's okay. You know, if you only ever got huge, giant gems, then it wouldn't be rare and these wouldn't be worth any money. What I learned my first few years of cutting gems is can't be afraid to lose material. Obviously you want to save as much as you can. But in order to get down to the good stuff, you just gotta sometimes burn through your material. And I'm not going for any particular shape right now. Oh, we lost it. See? Gotta go back and find it. It must have come off somewhere in here. Well, we'll find it. Let this water dry up and we'll find her. We might be about where we want to be on this, guys. What do you think? Do we keep cutting or do we leave it? Keep taking some off? So it's at a spot where we might be able to draw out some stones. I think we go ahead and I'm going to shave a little bit more, and then we're going to call this stone done for now. Okay. So we're at a really good stopping point. Okay. That one's done. Now we'll go and map it out a little bit later and make a couple gems out of this. We are cruising tonight. Cruising for a bruising. Let's go ahead with this guy. Let's check her out. She doesn't have the best clarity or the most flash, but I feel like she's got some hidden potential. Let's put up on my light. Let's give her a whirl. This feels like a really nice solid crystal opal. Material feels nice and aged. Oh yeah, we're starting to get some more colors come through. What makes this relaxing, Aaron? What did you tell your son? There's a crack that is forming right there. Oh, sorry. There's definitely some really good potential in this thing. And by golly, we'll find it. By golly, by golly. Colors are starting to come through. This is a more traditional looking opal, very opaque. But look at the colors coming through on that. Now that we're removing that skin, holy cow. That, I just barely hit that with the stone and those things are popping now. Heck yeah. Look at that, guys. That was not there before. If you've been on this journey with me, this was an ugly duckling, and now it's gem quality, opaque, way low crystal opal. So the more we cut off, prettier it's getting. Looking for, some W's in the chat. All the W's. I'm super stoked today. I hit 100 subscribers. So I'm treating myself by continuing to stream live. Look at that. I love it. I just love it. I don't know if you can see that. Look at that now. Oh, heck yeah. It just keeps getting better and better and better. Aaron, send this live stream to Sean and Jess so that they can watch it, Skylar and opals are like a box of chocolates. Never know what you're gonna get. We've got a fair amount of that crack is just starting to worry me just a little. I feel like our main gem is right in here. That's where I believe that main gem is sitting. So we're at almost a pretty good stopping point here. So again, a lot of these we want to get rid of the sand, find the flash, and then we want to get it under the loop and just kind of check to see. Get those colors coming through on this guy. Try and get that light just perfect. Oh, I'm kind of flooding it out. There we go. Yeah, so let me bring this in on you guys again. Gonna round this off, gonna really bring some of that color out. So from what I'm seeing, we've got pretty much, we've got a crack right here, so we've got 2 gemstones. We're gonna get rid of that crack by taking a saw, and we're gonna cut that off right about there. But if you can kind of see, our main gem is hiding right in here. So whether we do a nice long, almost pillow cut, princess cut, yeah, it's gonna be beautiful. So I need to get this dry, and I need to get it under the loop. So I'm gonna put this one on the drying rack, and I'm gonna grab another piece of raw opal, rough opal, I should say. And let's keep processing. All right, let's go in on this guy. Oh, my camera got bumped. Sorry, guys. Don't mean to be so... All right. You can see the main color bar on this one sits right at the bottom here and at the top there. There's quite a few cracks all throughout the potch down the middle, possibly into the stone. Let's chase it and see what we can do. A lot of clay in this one, real sticky. You have to turn the water up a little bit. It's sticking to the wheel real good. Okay, it's starting to clear up. I think we're getting some good colors out of that. They're starting to come through. And keep going. Feels decently solid. Definitely feels a little bit more crystal than not. We get a couple different kinds of opal. Okay, we're starting to come in. Okay, we're pretty close. That band is starting to shrink and shrink. We do have another color band on this side, so maybe I'm gonna give this side a little bit of a break so we know what's kind of underneath there. And let's scalp this side and see what happens. See just the smallest amount of color. I see some blues and reds and greens. Let's see. See if you guys can get a glimpse out of them. I don't think you'll be able to. Maybe right there. There's a tiny little window. So let's keep going. This one seems like in order to get rid of the sand, we'd have to burn through. So you can see some color in that. I don't know that it's necessarily worth chasing this side anymore. We want some of that meat to be able to use the saw and cut through that. But we can see there's some really nice color right in there. Yeah. Tell me, how's everyone's summer been up to this point? Everybody enjoying that heat wave? Okay, so there's a couple problems in this stone. Doesn't mean that we can't make a gem right about there. Oh, we've got a fracture right there, and then this little piece is just kind of, there's a fracture right there, so it's just kind of barely hanging on. So this may be one that we give away that we give to a subscriber in a giveaway. We do giveaways every Friday. You gotta subscribe, but you also have to let us know where you're watching from. And between letting us know where you're watching from and a subscription, we'll randomly do a drawing and send out a gem. We'll reach out to you through your handle and confirm shipping details. I don't know. I think there's some maybe potential. You can see that bar is really, really shallow. I wouldn't consider this high quality. So this may be one that we end up just polishing up exactly the way that it is. Maybe round some of the edges off and then just kind of sell it as more of a really pretty piece that has sand in it. So, what do you guys think? Should I keep cutting or should Should we keep trying to find the center, or you think this one's kind of at its limit? You guys want me to keep cutting this stone or move on? I've got plenty others. Like this guy right here? Or this guy right here? Or this guy right there? So right here, let's see. Yeah, kind of dip it into the crystal a little bit. We might lose some of that beautiful flash. But you know what? Let's see if I can get that clear. Goes pretty deep, but we will try. Let me see if I can flatten her out just slightly. We're inching closer. And we might be able to get it off. I'm going to kind of round this over though. What do you think, guys? Aaron, did it get better? This is the thing, is that the way that I protect my hands is that the lapidary is actually afraid of me. So I'm so strong that it can't do anything. You know? We're so close. Just need that last little tiny piece of sand out. Thanks for joining the stream, Girls Club Adventures. I haven't seen Girl Club Adventures in quite a while. You guys made any more videos? What you guys been up to? Okay, so a really cool pattern, I'll say, Aaron, appeared. Some fish scale bubble appeared after I took that sand out. This is gonna be really, really cool. Tell me if you guys can see. Oh, I hope you can see it. Let me get that. You can see it in the red. There we go. Oh, you can almost see it. Let me change. Let me get the light up here. Trying to get it on camera for you guys. There it goes. See how it looks like fish scales? So, Aaron, thanks for the suggestion because I didn't see that hidden pattern under there. So apart from that crack, now we might be able to get a decent little gem out of this. All right, move this light back over here. So that crack just spread, which I kind of knew would happen. But you can see it's kind of gone to the right-hand side now. So I think this will be, I'm just going to polish the rest of it. I think we kind of got the beauty that we can out of it. That crack developing, it's just going to break apart. And I think let's move on to another gem. We'll let this one dry out and we'll get back to it. Give me a second, guys. Ugh. All right, let's take this. We're gonna get away from some blues. There we go. We're gonna get into some more, I would call it almost a red potch, brown, light brown, but it gives it more red undertones. So this is one of my favorites. If you look up at the top left corner, it's like almost like fairy dust. I'm sure there's an actual technical term for it, but I call it fairy dust. But this is a really pretty one. So we're gonna get rid of that sand. Yeah, like glitter. Okay, let's jump in this. Turn this water off, and we're gonna have to come over to the heavier stone. There's too much sand on this one, so we're gonna go heavy. Now, keep in mind, you see this deep valley? That's not technically a crack, but I would be surprised while handling it if a crack doesn't form there, and then we've got two separate stones. Super common. We'll go nice and slow, but yeah, let's get this taken off. And you guys tell me, what do you think? With this content, would you prefer that I find a stone and then finish it all, oh, look at that, all in one go in these live streams? You know, take some time, maybe map a stone out while I'm here, show you the entire process? Or do you guys like seeing the variety of stones as we process them? See? There's a crack right there. Love that variety. Okay. So this stone that I'm using, I usually use to get off the sand, but it's a pretty harsh stone. So I usually only spend as much time as I absolutely have to before moving over to I mean, look at that right there. I mean, it's hard. It's hard because, like, we can see, you get back in frame, and that's a beautiful stone right there, but you flip it around and it's almost just as pretty, you know? I'm gonna try and go on this one because we can keep this a whole stone. I would like that. Sorry if my arm gets in the way. Okay, turn this water down a bit. Square this shoulder up. Oh man, this is it almost naturally wants to facet. This one, it's got, I'm pretty sure, you guys be the deciding vote here. Is this one stone or two? Now take into account, I might be able to stabilize that crack. I doubt it. But I kind of feel like this is the main stone right there. Beautiful, squared up, almost emerald cut ring. And then this can be where it's a sister stone. If we can stabilize that, we might be able to turn this little chunk into a little pendant or a complementary necklace or earring. You can split these in two if we can get enough sand out. But what do you guys think? Two stones. Great minds think alike, I agree. But look at that back. Oh my goodness. I mean, look at the front. So what do you guys like? You like that front side? Or do you like that back side? There's enough meat on this to where I could square that up. Gosh, this is a really nice gem. Well, I think I have taken as much off as I dare before as I dare in this process. So, okay, I'm gonna go grab another stone, guys. Let this one dry up. You can wake up for you. Okay, we're gonna try something I haven't done in a long time. We're gonna do an oil an oil opal. And this is considered as a very expensive stone, so I got to be super careful with this. But this in particular is considered a fire opal. Okay? Check on one disc. Bam! Very expensive stone. It's considered a fire opal, just based off its potch color. And this, oh man, I don't know. I don't even think that this guy needs to be, ooh, baby, polish that skin up back there. Get those colors to come through. We'll start there because I'm really nervous to work on this stone. Because I kind of feel like there's multiple really gorgeous gems that we can cut out of this. So we'll start on the back, kind of work our way around and, you know, go from there. And this is much harder. The stone doesn't want to move on the cutting wheel as fast. Okay, thoughts so far, guys, on the fire opal. Do you like the blues, the browns, the blacks, or the fire? Which ones do you guys like the most so far? Round some of these corners off. An opal watermelon slice, that's great. Yeah. I like that comparison. You know, I'll have to be honest with you though. I'm not a huge fan of the watermelon. I really only like watermelon if it's in the form of Laffy Taffy, Sour Patch Kids, and soaking in Sprite for a day. So we're getting some really cool streaks. We've got some inclusions on the back, but these inclusions, they don't necessarily take away. I got my bag, sorry guys. They don't necessarily take away from it. So we can see some of those colors coming through. So I don't know if it's necessarily, maybe it is, get through some of that darker potch. Yeah, let's keep at it. You've never tried watermelon soaked in Sprite? I'm telling you, it's one of the best things that you can do for a few reasons. One, if you get Sprite and then you leave the watermelon in Sprite overnight, then the watermelon itself becomes carbonated. And as you eat the watermelon, it bubbles in your mouth. It's wonderful. You gotta try it. Okay. So, as we've been working on this, unfortunately, and that's just how it goes. You may not be able to see it. Right here. See that little line? We developed a crack. I might be able to get that crack to come out, but it's unlikely. What we can do is at least try and prevent the crack from spreading. It's interesting, we've got almost opaque opal now that this has kind of taken some water. We're starting to see a lot of really pretty opaque opal come out here. Then we also have it in that red, that beautiful red potch. It is an amazing stone. I think I have this about where I want it. I feel like there's a lot that we can do with this stone, and I'd much rather study it and get it on the get it under the loop so that we can kind of study that stone and see how many we can get out of this. Sorry, I keep getting out of frame. There we go. I'm going to make an adjustment here, and I'm going to call it on this stone. It's absolutely gorgeous. We've got opaque and we've got that red fire opal. Kind of splits itself. And I want to see what else we can do with this. All right, we're gonna work on some black opal. This again is another really expensive stone, so I'm gonna take my time with it. What do you guys think? You like these dark blue? Let me get it wet a little bit. These dark blue opals. Which ones are your favorite? The ones that we've worked on so far. There's a crack right there. So, did you go see that movie Obsession? those cool bands. Well, you need to make that list a little bit shorter of a list. Look at the color bands in that. That would make a cool, I mean, that would be big, but that could make a cool ring. Now I feel like this one's gonna fracture. See that? For sure this is gonna pop off. See if we can encourage it. Oh. Well, if it pops off, it pops off. I guess. There's multiple stones in this one too. Round these harsh edges off right there. What's cool is you can kind of see through those edges. I feel like this is a stone by itself, this is a stone by itself, and then this backside. That'd almost be cool just like that. Seeing a lot of potential in this gem. I've been getting kind of lucky with some of these. You know, not always does cutting gems go smooth like this, knock on wood. I don't have same with this one. I think we're pretty close to a stopping point. What do you guys think? We got to find the stones, the gems within. I wish you could see this in its natural light because I'm not getting all of those colors to come through. Little pre-polish. I could keep chasing this, but I'm going to trust my gut. I'm going to call it. So that we can get it on the saw and then into the faceter. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's get this guy going. He's a nice big one. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Now it's not super clear, but we'll get it there. I kind of have a feeling, you see that like semi-purple hue? I have a feeling this has got a lot of potential. There's a big stone. You can see it's probably like, I don't know, 50 carats or so. You can get a lot of value out of this if we cut it just right. Let's start with skinning it a little bit. We'll probably after this one, call the stream for the night. Or maybe I'll be back, who knows? Take a break for a little bit. So I'm seeing so far where most of that color bar is right now sits, a good chunk of it, really pretty stuff sits right on that edge there. Sand goes in pretty deep on this, so I'm gonna leave that alone. Almost all the color, you guys can see, it's about, this is mostly potch here. starting to get a lot of color to come through. Get through some of this opaque. Oh, we're starting to get a lot more colors to come in. You just gotta sometimes get to them. I feel like we're getting there. There's some nice color sitting underneath this stuff, so I'm gonna keep going on it. And go ham sandwich. Oh yeah. And I see we're getting closer to the center. I'm gonna bring those colors to the surface if we can. So there's a lot of really gemmy on this side as we get further down. Oh, sorry, get you back in frame. You can see that those colors are really starting to come through. And let me see if I can get some better light on it. No, maybe that makes it worse. There's a lot more color in this than this camera's picking up right now. Let's keep going. I'm not necessarily going for a particular shape on this guy either. We're just trying to find where the best colors are and then get rid of the spots where we think those best colors are. We'll whittle it down. Then we'll get this, we'll cut this up, get it under the loop. But we can start to see that color coming through. It's getting only prettier and prettier. Lapidary is kind of like, you know, being at a bar surrounded by a bunch of ugly ladies. You know, the longer you're there, the more you drink. You know, the prettier and prettier the women get. You know, same kind of thing with these stones. A lot of times you get these stones that look kind of like ugly turds. I'll show you. They look something like this. You know, the more time you spend with them, the more you get to know them. You know, kind of look past all those really ugly physical features. And then all of a sudden, you know, you got a sweet spirit. Something beautiful. Hesitant to flatten this edge off right there because there's some decent meat and that could be a gem just by itself. So I'm not gonna try and shape that to the stone. I'm gonna leave that as is. That could be a stone all by itself. But I'm gonna take this corner off a little bit more. I'm starting to get closer to some good meat down there. Okay. Now I think we're pretty, you know, we're pretty much where we want to be on this stone. You know, you want to leave as much meat as possible so that when you go to cut the gem, you can facet. I don't know if you guys can see that, but then you can facet down here and leave the really pretty stuff on opals, especially if it's kind of split. So I'm going to take out a couple more little areas. And I'm going to hit this side really quick on the pre-polish because I kind of have a feeling it's going to look really pretty once we kind of get some more clarity on it. Let me get that in frame. Well, that could be a teardrop just by itself. I can kind of see those colors coming through. Make a nice big, decent size cut this right down here. Make a beautiful teardrop. crap. Let me bring this in real close for you guys. You know, it kind of stinks because the lighting's really just not picking up. A lot of those colors. There's more than you think in there. See a lot of color coming through on that side. See if I can get some color right here out of it for you guys. This angle, there we go. Really start to see those colors start to come through. Let's see if I can get up a little closer. Gorgeous. Okay, I'm gonna move on. I think I got one more stone in me. I thought this was the one, but I think I've got another one in me. My back's starting to hurt a little bit, but you know, such is life. You guys haven't tried these yet. These Kirkland sparklings, you need to. They're life, they're Vita. They're Vita de Loca Loca. All right, we'll go with this guy. It's really pretty. Gorgeous. It's got a lot of cracks in it. So we're gonna get that sand off. The game here is low and slow. That beautiful teal. Come on, you know about it. Are they spiked? What? Please elaborate what you mean, are they spiked? Oh, I get what you're saying. Rude. I get it now. You don't need to explain. They're not spiked. Not these ones. Right, babe? All right. I got to move you back over to this guy. Let me get this. Oh wow, that is very soft sand. That just went right through it. Sometimes you just never know. Also, how dare you ask about spiked energy drinks and stuff. There might not be as many cracks in this as I thought. Ladies, gentlemen, this is freaking gorgeous. Freaking gorgeous. Oh my gosh. It's just like, it never gets old, is what I'm saying. I love it. It really never gets old. You just never see the same stone twice. When you think that you've seen the most beautiful stone, you know, you haven't. Well, that's why. Got the water on the wrong one. Sorry for my fat arm. Or should I say my husky arm? That's probably my fave other than the blue one. You know, this almost naturally, just the way that it is, you know, this might be an arrowhead. I don't know. Almost like a bring this in, bring this in. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still got to take this sand off. Your friend found a arrowhead at Lake Powell once. That's really exciting. Was he stoked? I would be if I found an arrowhead at Lake Powell. That would have been amazing. I don't know. I think that shoulder's a little too steep. So I don't think we're going to get... But we might be able to get a... I don't know. I'm going to have to draw on this a little bit. But I think we got this one pretty much. Again, this one went so quick. I may have to do another. You know, that's what I always say. Yeah, you know what I mean? That's pretty. See that band coming through? So if you look, it says kind of got that almost cloud-like thing in the middle there. That's because water is moving in from the edges on this opal and getting sucked into the middle. A heart? I mean, I guess you could try and do a heart on this. I don't think I've ever really done a heart, so I'd have to try. All right, I'm gonna go get another one. Turn this waz down. All right, here's a cool one. This will make a good band. It's full of sand, so we're gonna have to get a little creative with it, but let's jump right in and see what we can get out of this stone. Again, there's so much sand in it, it's gonna be kind of a difficult cut, but we might be able to pull a gem out of this. Let's start skinning. See some beautiful color right here. So I'm excited about this one. I'll turn the water up just a bit. There's a lot of sand. It's pretty cool. You can kind of see there's opal mixed in with that sand there. I don't know, guys. We've really only got this area that's not just completely caked with sediment. A little area here. It's right on the tips. A here for a necklace. Could I shape it into a what? Heart. I think this is one where there's so much sand. You use the sand to kind of accent it, and you just let this be more of like a pretty piece like that, you know? Rather than trying to chase all of the sand out, we just get out what we can. Just make it a nice, pretty piece to look at. There we go. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? Just don't think that we're gonna get past this sand. Trying to figure out what shape, if any, this will be. It could just be more of a randomized shape, you know, and just let the sand, because we're not going to get past the sand. It's in there too deep, and even if we cut a gem out of this, it would be teeny tiny. And I think just getting as much color out of it as we can in sand, I think that's kind of the play there, and let this just be more of a natural looking cut stone, and just kind of leave it like that. I think, nothing wrong with that. This isn't gem quality, but not every stone can be gem quality, else they wouldn't be rare. Got a little bit more color coming through here, so let's see if we can get some of this other sand out. And I think this is about where we're gonna leave this guy. What do you guys think? Should I chase after the gems, the little bit that are there, cut those out, or should I leave it like this and sell it as more of a unique piece? I think we had a chip. It's gonna take some time to work out. Try and get this more like a flat bottom. Yeah, that's the play. Trying to get this little tiny last piece of sand out. That little window. I think that got it. Yeah, okay. What I think I'll end up doing with this stone is adding a facet, a hard facet on this lip, so it kind of gives you some dimension and makes it look semi-gemmy. You know? Let's see if we can get some refractory on this. Okay. Got a little bevel. Oh, I'm assuming you guys can kind of see that bevel there. Now it gives it a little bit more dimension. I think it kind of looks like you're looking at the ocean. What do you guys think? Call it the Opal Ocean. And flatten this face out just a little bit. Able to be as even as possible. I feel like eyeballing it and doing a decent job on that bevel. Opal Fisher. Yeah. think this one's gonna come out really good, guys. Especially if you look at the top. It's a lot cooler in person. I'm gonna go ahead and let's go to some pre-polish. Adjust some of my lights here. Oh no. We got a crack. It just cracked right down the middle. Frick. Well, it'll be okay. That's part of it. That's just part of it.
Oh. Ah, that sucks.
Alright, let's see if we're ready to move on. See if there's still any deep scratches on this guy. After burning, it looks like we chipped a little bit. Sorry. There's a little chip on the face, so I may have to keep bringing that down just slightly. The back, we might be close. I may need to spend a little bit more time on pre-polish. Yeah, on the back here as well. So we'll spend a little bit more time on pre-polish. I've got to, on the face, go back to the diamond wheel. That chip, it's like nanometers, but it's got to come out or else it won't look right. move the camera for you guys. Chase that chip out. May have done it. We're close. I still see a little bit. Dry it off. Now we're very close. Very, very close. I have to rebevel this. And we're a little bit closer. Chip is still there. Here's the top. We'll try and round it out into the bevel. All right, let's look. Okay, we got the chip out. We're gonna go back through and go back through and put that bevel back in it. Or you could say the facet. And what this will do is just give it some dimension, allow that light to bounce around a little bit more. And that's about where I want the bevel. I think that fixed it. To bring this in. If you guys weren't here, I was just saying how unfortunately we developed a crack. You may not see it. I might be able to get that to seal up, but unfortunately the crack formed. But that bevel, look at that facet. It's looking pretty good. Set this up, make sure it still looks good. Okay, we're golden. All right, back to pre-polish, y'all. Let me move the camera for you. Well, this is a stage that you really want to make sure you get right. Because if you don't, when you get to fine polish, you really hate yourself for it. Then you just see all of these craters and all the areas you missed. That looks good to me. Okay, I'm gonna go and hit this bevel. I gotta be really careful because you can over polish really easy. I'm not putting a lot of pressure. You don't need a lot of pressure. You're getting through the pre-polish. What do you guys think of this stone so far? I think it's a nice, really cool, unique piece. You know, like I say, not everything has to be a gem. Sometimes just seeing unique stones is just as nice as high quality gems that roll in rings. You know? You can see natural inclusions and the sand and how it's formed. I'm gonna go ahead and dry this off, take a look. So here we are in pre-polish. Starting to clarify a little bit. I think we're ready to move to the next stage. There's a little area right there that I think I could hit a little bit harder. Right here. Okay, going over to polish. I'm gonna have to move the camera and the light. So give me a second, guys. Gotta get reset up. Get you. Remove this light over. Okay, we're gonna kind of hopefully fly through these last stages. Opal's pretty soft. Who's Fisher? Let me dry this off and take a look. Still a little cloudy. We're not quite in the polish phase yet. High polish. Next stage, I think I got a little bit to do on this top. But we're close. We're close to moving to the next stage. 1 second. Right in here. I'm gonna hit this face one more time. And make sure we're good. I think we are. There we go. I think we're there. It's doing that. All right. Oh, let me move the camera for you guys. Sorry. Okay, let's dry this off and take a look, guys. I mean, that looks beautifully polished to me. What do you guys think? It's like right here needs to be a little bit more polished. Probably this top ridge. Okay, let's take a look. She should be dry. Beautifully polished. This is one that we're most likely gonna give away. What's your guys' take on it? I think it looks kind of like a beautiful window into the ocean. I'm gonna call it ocean window. Now let's get it on the cesium to really give it that luster. Now the cesium, okay, this stuff is a little bit of a pain in the butt, so I'm gonna spare you guys. And I'm just gonna apply it, and I'm gonna give it some really beautiful shiny luster. This stuff is messy and it gets everywhere. I won't lie, this is probably my least, the thing I hate the most to work with is this oxide. But I'll tell you, it puts a beautiful Beautiful polish. So just kind of, I guess, deal with it. Am I right? All right, let's take a look. Let's turn this water way down. Let's go ahead and spool this up. Problem is this stuff also gets everywhere. It doesn't need long. Oh wow, it's better, it really is. You just get a luster out of it that otherwise you wouldn't. All right, let's take a look. What's everyone's vote? Is this gonna be a nope or a dope? Oh, it's just better. It really is. You know what, I gotta get this little spot right there. 1 second, gotta spool her back up. All right, now let's take a look. Well, thank everybody that joined me tonight for joining. I'm gonna call that a night, and I'm gonna go eat myself a grilled cheese compliment of my wife. Okay, good night. Take it easy, everyone.